There, guys. This is your Bible lesson for Thursday, April 23rd. And we're just going to be going over some of the little information boxes throughout our chapter that we've missed. So I'm going to get to my spot here. So I want to read this section to you, and it's called The Miracle of Life Before Birth. And here you'll see a sonogram picture of a baby, and this is what a sonogram would look like in the mother's womb. So God designed human babies to grow inside their mothers for 9 months before being born into the world. He makes the mother's body a special place for babies, giving them everything they will need to grow and mature. Within the first month, the baby will grow 10,000 times its original size as it begins to develop its circulatory, nervous, and digestive systems. By the end of the second month, the baby has eyes, a nose, lips, a tongue, ears, and the beginning of teeth. A week later, the mother's doctor can hear the baby's heartbeat. By the end of the third month, the baby will have his or her own unique fingerprints. That's just in month 3 of the 9 months. Almost before the mother knows she is pregnant, the baby is already able to move. As the baby reaches 5 months, he or she can stretch and kick so much that the mother can feel her child inside her. At this point, the baby has hair, eyebrows, eyelids, and eyelashes, and may startle at the sounds and respond to voices of its mother and father. Ultrasound pictures at this stage may catch the baby sucking its thumb, yawning, or even what appears to be walking. No one really knows exactly when babies begin thinking about things or feeling pain, but we do know that God has designed babies to start being people from the time they are conceived. God told the prophet Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Just like you are different from anyone else in your family, God creates each baby to be special and unique long before he or she is born. The book of Luke tells of when Mary, the newly pregnant mother of Jesus, visited her pregnant cousin Elizabeth. When the baby Elizabeth was carrying heard Mary's voice, he jumped. Elizabeth said, "As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy." And you can find that in Luke 1:44. Elizabeth's baby would grow to be John the Baptist, who recognized the coming Messiah before either of them was born. Okay, I thought that was a neat section. And then I'm going to flip and read this other section. And as we end our chapter, it says, "What should I do?" We learned a lot of information yesterday. If it was too much, you can always go back and re-listen to the lesson. But what should we do with all that we've learned about how God meets our physical needs and our non-physical needs? God gave clothing to Adam and Eve after they sinned against him. He provided water for the Israelites in the desert. He fed the prophet Elijah in the midst of a famine. He provided shelter for Joseph and Mary when there was no room at the inn. God created us to depend on him, and he has promised to provide for all of our needs. So the question is this: do you trust God? Trust means having confidence in someone else. Specifically, trusting God means having complete confidence that he will always do everything he promises. Trust is an important part of any relationship, and it sets us free from worrying about whether the other person will care for us and not hurt us. Without trust, we cannot be in harmony with that person. Because God is who he is, we can trust him completely. You've learned already that God is truth and that he always keeps his promises. You've learned that you are his child and that you can always depend on him. Even when we cannot see a solution to our problems, even when we're not sure how God will provide, we must choose to trust him. Proverbs 3:5-6 says this: "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." He will always provide because he is a faithful God. Therefore, we need to trust God for everything. We need to trust God if we are to please him. When we trust God, he will answer our prayers, give us peace, and ensure our victory over the devil. Okay, so in your journal on page 169, you have to make a note of it. Think about a need that you have sometime that you often worry about. It may be a physical need, it may be a non-physical need. Write a letter to God telling him about your need. Then thank him for his promise to meet this need. At the end of your letter, write out one of the scriptures from this lesson that gives you hope and encouragement that God will indeed meet this particular need. Okay, so it's a letter. Okay, so a letter is not one sentence. Okay, so make sure you're giving me a full letter on that journal page. Okay, write your letter to God, telling him what your need is right now, and thanking him that he's going to provide for that need. Okay.